In this lesson, I will discuss about user interface in SolidWorks. When you will launch your SolidWorks software, at first you will get this type of environment. On the top left, there is an icon of the SolidWorks. If I hover over this icon, there is a drop-down menu. This is the menu. There is few things is showing in here. So if there is a pin button, if I press this pin button, this thing and this thing, both thing, this will show this thing together, and it's better to work. If I want to create a new file, I can create the new file from here, or I can create new file from the file, new. I can open a file from new, or I can open a file from here. If I press the new, I get a new window. There in this window, I can work with the three type of file. One is part file, assembly file, or the drawing file. If I go to the advanced section, there is two tab. In this two tab, there are lots of template you can get, but by default you will get this three type of template. But if you want, you can add lots of template here. So I will go back to novice window. From this window, if I want to open a part file, just press and OK. Then a new file will be created for you, and you have to work here. In this environment is totally different, and in this environment there are lots of tools and many things going here. If I start from the left, this left side is called Feature Manager Design Tree. What does this do? You don't need to understand that thing, just try to understand this thing, that when you will work with the tool, that tool will store in here. If you work with sketch tool, or if you work with any feature tool, if you work any type of tool to make your model, that tool will be shown in here. And this top section, this is called Command Manager. This full section is called Command Manager. In the Command Manager, there are lots of tabs in here. It's called Feature tab, Sketch tab. In each tab, there is a certain sets of tools. This certain set of tools organized by a very intelligent way, so that one user can work very comfortably. In the sketch tab, there are lots of tools which is related with the sketch. In the feature tab, lots of tools is going on here, but lots of tools also is in gray. You will understand later why this is gray. And in some tools, it contains few text. So if you want, you can remove this text, but just by right clicking on this Command Manager and use large button with text. If I press this thing, it will show only the tools. It's okay, you can work with this thing, but if you are totally new to SolidWorks, it's better to have this checked, because if you have to first you have to understand and you have to familiar with this software. That's why it's better to put the text beside these tools. And if I go to the top, this is called menu bar. In this menu, there are lots of tools in here. Tools window, lots of things in here. When I will work, you can understand one by one. And on the right, if you want to make another new file, just press here. You can make another new file here. Or if you want to open any file, you can use this icon. Or if you want to save, you can use this icon. If you want to print this thing, you can use this icon. Or these two icon I will discuss the later. And this is options, very important important thing. If I go inside this options, there are two categories. One is system options, another is document properties. System options only applies globally in the SolidWorks, but the document properties applies only within part, assembly, or drawing file. When I will change this thing, or I will work with this thing, you will understand what is the main difference. At the right side, there is a search box. Within this, just beside this search box, there is a drop-down menu. If I go here, you can use SolidWorks self. If you don't understand any tools, if you want to know anything about any tools, you can use the SolidWorks self. There is knowledge base. You can use community forum. If you face any critical problem, you can go to community forum, and you can get lots of discussion in there. And there is a command and file. If you want to find any file or model, you can use this thing. And this command is very important. If you want to work with this, just press this thing. This icon means you are in this commands. What does this do? This is very important. Normally, if you are new to SolidWorks, then sometimes you may not memorize all the tools. So where this tools is. Sometimes, suppose you work with this fillet or anything, you already forget that where this tools is. Just you have to press FILL. If I press the FILL, it will show my best matches with the word. So I am looking for the fillet. This is that fillet. So this is great. That's why it will not work. If I press HE, if I want this helix and spiral, these tools, I can, if I press this tool, it will be activated, or suppose if I press this thing, it will be activated. But if I want to know what is the location of this, then there is a glass icon just beside this tools. If I press this thing, it will, this SolidWorks will show where this tools exactly is with the very big red arrow. If I go to this drop down menu, I will get these tools from here. So this is very helpful tools for new user, because if you are a new user, it will be a very common thing that you will forget where is the tool is. And there is this bottom section. This is called status bar. So in this status bar, you can get lots of things. Suppose if I want to start my design, you can get lots of things going on here. What type of information this is getting, you are getting. I will discuss this thing later. This is called status bar. And this is, you can change the unit from here. If I go press here, this is also a drop down menu. There are lots of unit here. You can use your desired unit here, or you can use this option, go to document properties. You can use the same thing, units. In the units, there are lots of things here. If I press millimeter, GS, see this is already changed. And in the right side, you can see there is few icon here. This is called task pane. If you don't get this task pane, just go to view, and from here, if I go to the bottom, I think you cannot see this thing better. I close this thing so you can understand the thing. When I go to view, there is it's checked. It's not showing here. It's unchecked now. If I check this thing, it will get this thing here. So what does this do? There are a few resources you can get from here. This is first one is SolidWorks resource. If I expand this thing, there are lots of things you can get from here. If you feel you do not need this thing in the right side, you want to put this thing on the left side, you can move the drag and move to the left or anywhere in the SolidWorks. If you want to move to the right, attach to the right, there is a dock task pane icon. If I press this thing, it will be docked to the right. And in the SolidWorks resource, this is very basic new. If you want, how do you open a new file, open file, there is few tutorial, basic tutorial here, or there is a community custom portal. If you have any custom portal user access, then you can log in from here, and there are some technical information. You can, lots of news you can get here. They always update news in here. And the second one is design library. This is very important. When you will work with the SolidWorks, you are making the part. At the time you have to use the hardware or any type of sheet metal forming tools. You have to use continuously, repetitively. You have to use the same thing, so you can store that tools in this toolbox. And they already put lots of thing in here in the design library. And there is another thing, 3D content center. This is a web. You can get lots of free 3D CAD from this website. And this is file explorer. If you want to look for your file from here, you can search from here. Next one is view palette. From the view palette, when I will work with the drawing file, at the time I will discuss this thing. How do you work with this thing? This is called appearance, scenes and detail. From here you can drag and drop the appearance scene to your part or in your assembly file. This is custom property. If you want to modify or if you want to create this custom property, you can do that thing from here. This is very helpful thing, and at first you may not understand this thing, what is the benefit of working with this thing, but when you will be familiar with this thing, you will understand all this thing.